I've spent over 3 hours on this build. Alright, not just this build, but all the copies of this build, this example that I've got for you guys here. So this is going to be how to combine different like chiseling stuff with your vintage story builds. So this way you guys will be able to see kind of what it is to look for. You can see there's variation in some stuff over there already. So we're going to look at, you see this house over here. So this one, it's made purely of blocks in game. There's no chiseling done to this whatsoever, and you can see that it's all pretty flat. I mean, the roof sticks out a bit, which is nice. There's some windows, but you know, I've got a whole building tutorial on how to add different block palettes and whatnot together, so you guys can check that out as well. But it's a pretty basic regular little house. One door here, two doors here. Let's go over to the first house. The first house over here, what I've changed is I have made some chiseling on the walls. So you can see I've made little frames around the door, which I can actually, if I want to, with my chiseling tool, I can go super tiny with, like it's just a sliver if I wanted to as well. That would take a really long time. It would take several times longer than what it took to just get rid of this. If you guys need any help with doing chiseling and stuff, you can always go and check out, I have one more video that is on that as well, so you can look at that one if you guys need help with doing this. I won't be going over how to chisel in this video, just kind of ideas and inspiration for adding things together like this. I don't know what this is, but I thought that it looked nice, and it kind of breaks up this wall a little bit over here as well, so that looks good. And then up here I've just got I've got a little bit of detail back here as well that you guys can see that goes around in there. So for this one, I decided just to go around up over here and around the window frames and the door frames, kind of just to frame it up a little bit. Adds a little bit of depth already. You can see something like that versus something like this. This one should look a lot flatter to you now. Even though it still looks good, it's still very flat. You could achieve a good depth kind of effect with slabs as well, but with slabs you're stuck with exactly half a block. That's the only problem. And then the next one, this one, I changed the floor, and over here you can see under here I added some detail there, which makes the foundation feel a little bit I think stronger. I could probably add, I don't have any of these blocks on me right now, but I could add some more under there just to kind of make it feel a little bit more firm. I think I did that down there actually. So if we go inside, I haven't done much except around over here, and I'll show you guys a build where I combine everything that's in here together. But you can see I just done a little bit of something around the edges. I'll actually put on my SSAO. This is gonna lag a bit, but hopefully you guys can see it a bit better if I just stand still. I know it's lagging quite a bit, but you guys can probably see that a little bit better, the chiseling effect that it has on the inside. And then we have this last one over here. So this one is the roof. So adding something to the roof, making the roof, oh my goodness, that is oh yeah, sorry about that, my mouse is a little bit busted. I need to get a new one. You see this? So this has got a much more slant, whereas with these ones I used just the normal stair blocks. I actually have double stairs this side and that side, as you can see. And over here all I did was I took those same stairs, I just copy pasted the roof, and I chiseled them out a bit. So they've got this little bit of a curve and a slight taper that's almost unnoticeable just on the edge over there. Other than that, I haven't actually done anything more with this house. It just shows you how changing the roof can kind of change the personality. This looks a little bit more barn-like, a little bit more fantasy or abstract, or maybe you could see something like this on a cottage roof. That would be something else you could see it on. Whereas this one looks a lot more just like a house. Now, before I go on to showing you guys what everything looks like when I put it together, there are these shingles and or different types of roofing, which all look absolutely great together, and you can combine these, do your chiseling, combine them with chiseling to make something look absolutely great. For example, if I put these here, they make really nice roof pieces by themselves because of the way that they're slanted. But today we aren't doing that. Today we're looking at how you can combine it with this. So you can see here's an idea. This could be, I imagine, like an entrance to some sort of a sewer, maybe with some knocked out bars or something. Like over here you could see this as being some bars for either, I don't know, some old dungeon or maybe a gothic themed castle. You could have these, and you could even have broken versions here so that you can still get through, or you can just bar it up or put glass inside. And I've combined this little bit of wood at the back just to make it pop slightly more. I could honestly do a little bit more with this as well, but I just wanted to give you an idea of things that you can do to combine blocks. So just because this is sloped doesn't mean you can't use it just because chiseling is an option. They're both exactly viable options for roofing. In fact, in survival mode, I would probably use this over chiseling unless I'm looking for a specific tapering look. But for average roofs, this is good. And you can make these little window or sewage pipe things here. So if I just block that out there, maybe that gives you guys a little bit more of an idea on that. Here, this is the finished one. Now I'm going to put time today because I don't like the sun being where it was at. I'm going to put it on the SSAO. I got it right this time. Onto medium quality, just to keep it down a bit, but so you guys can still see. So I've gotten rid of my HUD now, and you guys can see as I come along this path here, kind of just how all of this put together makes such a difference on the build itself. If you look at this and you compare this right here, I'm just taking a screenshot of that. When you compare it to this build over here, I'm going to put these pictures next to each other of the two buildings, but you can see just the difference it makes in the way that your build looks. And this really can be the difference between a build with tons of detail that just looks absolutely fantastic and an average build. Now, there's absolutely nothing wrong with having just, you know, a normal house like that. That's perfectly fine, actually. This is just for people who want to add the chiseling to the build, and this really can help. So there's not much to the technique. Make patterns, be symmetrical if you can. Asymmetry is also works. It can just look a little bit strange if you don't do it quite right. So if for example, I've actually got a bit of asymmetry, not on this one, but on the other one. If I go around the sides, you'll see I don't have the same little patterns that I have on here. So you see this is there all the way around. I've got that exact same pattern, except here where it was too small. There I had to improvise. But on the other one, you'll see on this one, I've got an entirely different design, and it looks like this there, and over here it looks a bit different, and on this side it's even thicker than on the other side, and it's just, you know, completely different. You wouldn't really like, you know, all of this is just a bit more asymmetrical. And with this one, if I go inside, and this is something, an extra little thing about the flooring that I haven't shown you, you'll notice over here, if I just sit down, that there's actually some chiseling going on around the carpet. And the reason I do that is, if you look at this, it makes the carpet just pop out a little bit more. So this is a bit more. So it'll pop out a bit more, which is going to be absolutely fantastic. That's really what you would want from the interior. Is I needed something here, so I put down the wool as a carpet, but then I also just made sure that I chiseled on the tiniest bit around there, and it made it pop so nicely. And I really like the way that came out. And in here I've also got a slightly different design, similar to the other one, where I did the cobblestone in here, but it's a little bit thinner and less noticeable because I got this in here, so I didn't want to detract as much. So you'll notice as I come in here, right, I've got this chiseled out here, this path. So you can't chisel a path block, and you can't chisel the grass or dirt blocks, unfortunately. If you could, that would be really cool. But you'll notice I'll walk through here. I've got different noises under my feet from combining the path block with this cobble here, and it kind of looks just like it's worn and coming out, but it still looks like a path. and like the sand's kind of blown over it is the goal there. And then you come to the house. I've added a whole lot of stuff here. I've got my berry bushes, I've got some trees, and then this is just copy paste of that house there. So everything except for the carpet is inside of it. But on the outside, you can see when this is put together with an environment, how lovely it's just gonna look. It's gonna look absolutely just fantastic once you've added these bits of chiseling to your build. So this is something that literally anyone can do. You can see, I have no idea what happened here. I don't know what happened here. This is so strange. The way that it's working, is it because of it's been chiseled or something? Maybe. Okay, let me turn down my SAO. So this is just something that's a little bit strange. I'm not sure if that's a problem with the copy pasting. I'm assuming it is. But you can see just walking around here, even with this custom little grill here that I've got for the window frame, it just looks so nice when combined with an environment. And also because I've put this with the sand, it pops a little bit more than the other ones do with the grass, just because of these materials are so different from the sand, and the sandstone gravel and the sandstone sand. If you're going to chisel your build, you've got to chisel, you know, everywhere that as much as possible, in my opinion. So you don't have to chisel everything, but you can see when I chisel both the entirety of the walls, a bit of the floor, and a bit of the roof, I don't have to chisel this, obviously. I could use, for example, this roofing over here. I'll just quickly go and show you on this build. I'll actually copy paste. I'm going to paste this one over here. Now you can see it actually looks very nice. I mean, I would probably get rid of these if I were making this this roof itself. Sun. You can see that this actually looks very good as a roof. In fact, it's because it's designed obviously as roof shingles. This is much better suited for roofing than chiseling, in my opinion. Roofing is the thing that you're going to be using. In my opinion, this is what you should be using for your roof, unless specifically it's not the right shape. For example, this is a very specific angle to it, which I don't think you can make any taller. But when it comes to, for example, the chiseled roofs, they have this angle that, well, they've got whatever angle you need, and you can make them as small as necessary with the chisel. The smallest size I can go with this chisel is super tiny. Like, you thought that was tiny there? Nope. This is tiny. Let me just show you myself, my weirdly flying self next to how tiny that can be, right? It can be very tiny. If you guys need help with the chiseling process itself, then definitely go and check out my chiseling tutorial. If you need help with just theory on building and stuff, I have a tutorial where I go over modern and historical and fantasy themed building, also up here in the corner. And also, just a quick thing before y'all decide to go, if you could subscribe to the channel, I would really appreciate that, as it really does help me, as this would be something absolutely wonderful to keep doing as long as possible, because I just love this game so much. So if you guys don't mind, then please just hit that subscribe button. All right, I'll see you guys in the next video, I guess. All right, bye bye.